Hello and welcome. I'm Chaplain Carol Uselman with Warrior Family Ministries. And today we're going to, as part of our preparedness series, we're going to talk about water and water filters. Now, in an emergency situation, or just in general usage throughout the day, the rule of thumb is one person requires 1 gallon of clean water per day. That's for cooking, cleaning, washing, and drinking. And so it's recommended that when you store up your preparations, you store that much water. Some of the ideas to do that are half-gallon milk jugs, plastic bottles like this, and let me talk a minute about plastic. This is the kind of plastic bottle you want to store water in. If you buy water in a clear plastic jug. If you get them in the frosted kind of milk jugs, that plastic breaks down over time and you will have an absolute mess when your water bottles start to leak. This is the kind that will hold up longer. If you're using tap water lasts in a clean, sanitized bottle, sealed up, tight with a lid, will last about a year before you have to go ahead and purify it. If you're using well water, you should probably purify it when you first put it in and then purify it again before you use it. There's a couple of ways to, there's some other ways to store water. You can use your bathtub. Fill up your bathtub. If you know that, for example, that a hurricane is due, or if you know that there's an emergency where water service may be cut off, fill your bathtub. You can use that for flushing. If you are on, city water and have a septic tank, a septic system, which is the ideal setup for emergencies and taking care of yourself in an emergency, you can flush your toilet with a gallon of water. So you store your water in your bathtub, dip a bucket in, flush your toilet, and you're just fine. If you're on the city septic system, there may be some issues that we'll talk about a little later that have to do with that. But your bathtub is a good place to store water. You can actually line it. There is something, and I forget the name, but there are tub liners that you can use to store water in, and it's a good idea. You can, if you're going to sanitize these types of bottles, you want to wash them out real good with hot soapy water and then rinse them in clean hot water with a few drops of bleach in the water. And don't forget to sanitize the lids as well. If you're using well water, you have to rotate your water every 6 months or so. Another really good way to do it, and I don't personally have this set up yet, although one of these days I'm going to do it, is rainwater. A lot of people these days have rain barrels under their roof gutter system, and they collect rainwater. Rainwater is relatively, and I use the word relatively, pure. It collects stuff from your roof, so there's stuff in it, but there's no bacteria in it, unless you have bacteria growing on your roof or inside your gutter pipes, and you probably don't. However, it's easy enough to filter it or sanitize it. Rainwater is a really good source of drinking water because it's naturally alkaline, and it's more pure than other sources. So you don't have to worry quite as much about the purification process. There's no protozoa in it. So the things that you worry about with water are bacteria and protozoa. Cryptosporidium, Giardia, these are really nasty things that give you a lot of headaches if you ingest them, and if it's a heavy enough load, it can be life-threatening. All wild water sources in the United States now you have to purify. There is no place where you can just dunk your head in the stream and drink anymore. That doesn't exist, not in the U.S. One of the issues that we don't have in the U.S. that there is in many other parts of the world is viruses. Viruses are not found so much in U.S. water sources, but overseas, it's an epidemic, and that's why it's so critical for fresh water to be and wells dug in Africa. You may know some missionary friends that do that. I know some, and they absolutely need clean water. So in a moment here, after the break, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you some of the ways to filter and purify your water so that you can put up water at home and have plenty in an emergency. Welcome back. This is the second part of our video on water filters and water filtration. So a lot of people have probably seen ways to store water and filter water. There's ads all over the internet. There's ads all over social media for it. Let me show you some various ways. I'm going to start at the bottom. And the simplest way, if you've got a small kit, is to carry water. Sometimes water comes in pouches. Sometimes it comes in these juice boxes. These are good for a go bag, not for home use so much because they're not really terribly efficient. This is purified water. It has been purified to be able to be used on lifeboats. So it's got about a 5-year shelf life. After 5 years, it's still water, but I would run it through a filter. Now you've probably seen a lot of ads for something called a Life Straw because they're all over the place. This is not a Life Straw brand, but this is the same principle. This is a straw type device that, and I don't use it much, all right, that has a bite valve at the top, and you put this in the water and you suck. And it has a ceramic filter and a charcoal filter. There's two main types of filtration with water systems, with water filtration and purification. One uses activated charcoal or ceramic, and that will filter chemicals, and it will filter heavy metals as well as bacteria, and not viruses for the most part. There's another style that is physical filtration. Oh, these are really good. Let me tell you about this type of filter. They're good if you're on the move. If you're moving around and you're and you come to a puddle or a creek or a stream or something, lean down, suck it up. Or you put it in a container and you can suck from a container. That's what these are good for. Personally, I don't think it's real practical. There's another style of this same principle, and this is made by Sawyer. It comes in 2 parts. These are small. These are good for about, this is Aquamira Frontier filter. This is good for about 15 gallons. These are good for about 50. Again, I carry one of these in my travel bag when I'm flying, because if I have to, I can always drop this down a glass with whatever water in it and drink. So it's good. You can drop it in a cup or whatever. This is coffee, so I'm not going to do it. But these work really well because they're so compact. I do keep them in my bags. In fact, I got this one out of this bag right here. They're very compact and portable. But they're only good for about 15 gallons. Good for emergencies, not good for long-term use. This one too has some membrane filtration, but also has charcoal filtration. These are bottles that have a combination of water bottles with a filter down in there. Again, these are good for travel because you can fill them up anywhere. And this one is a Catadine. You can get it in sporting goods stores. This one is actually a Berkey. Now, I want to show you the one that I like the best. And this is the Sawyer Mini. This is what the packaging looks like. You can get them at Walmart now. Also Amazon, and the prices have come down over the years. They're now $20 at Amazon. It's It's the best $20 you can really spend. And this is a tiny little water filter, but this filters down to 0.1 microns. The membrane that's in this was developed for the dialysis industry. It's the same kind of membrane, a semi-permeable membrane used in dialysis. So it will filter bacteria and cryptosporidium. It'll filter out the creepy crawlies. It won't take out heavy metals. It won't take out chemicals out of your water. That's the downside to this kind. But if you're in an emergency in your house, it's really very handy. This is what's awesome about this particular bottle. I'm going to demonstrate now how this works really well for putting water in your cooking pot. I have a little camping cooking pot here, and I have a little bit of water in a water bottle here. So this screws on. It has threads, and this screws on. It comes with a bag that you can fill up with water and attach and then drink from the whole thing. But it comes with the bag, it comes with this straw, and it comes with a plunger to back flush it. That's how you clean this. This filter is advertised to work for 100,000 gallons because you back flush it to clean it out. Back flush it with clear water. Let's see how this works. This isn't the best threaded bottle, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to attach this bottle like this. And here we go. I'm going to squeeze. This may not work because it's not threaded really well. This is not a good bottle to use. But this is the arrangement. Say you were using a half-gallon soda bottle and you cut off the top. You could punch holes in it with a string and do this arrangement so that you pour water up into the half-gallon container and it drips down into your cooking pot, and you have an unlimited supply of fresh water, particularly if it's tap water that's a little questionable or if it's a wild water source. Another thing that you want to keep handy for if you're using really dirty water, creek water, a lot of the creeks here in North Carolina are real muddy. If you want to do that, use a coffee filter and a funnel. Coffee filters are excellent for that. I carry them in my portable kits. But they will get out the big pieces. This, yeah, it's starting to go. It's starting to actually drip out the bottom here. Drip out the straw. As I said, this is just a bottle I had sitting around. But you get the gist of it. To clean it, you attach it to like this plunger, attach it to the end that you would drink out of, and back flush. For $20, this is amazing. It comes with a bag. Reach down in the creek, fill up the bag, attach the bag to the filter, and you drink like that. Has all the advantages of the straw with the additional advantages, because it's threaded, of being able to work with other bottles and other containers. This is by Sawyer. As I said, it's a Sawyer Squeeze, the Sawyer Mini. The Sawyer Squeeze Mini is what they call this. It's for home use. It's as far as I'm concerned, you get the most value for your dollars. Over here, I have a big Berkey. Now, I have not used it yet, but this is the pinnacle of water filtration. There's a lot of people that have well water that's questionable. They use a big Berkey every day. This is the filter that will clean out chlorine, iodine, and other kinds of chemicals that are not taken by other filters. And just in the last couple of minutes, if worse comes to worst, you can use chlorine bleach. in a gallon of water, you want 8 to 16 drops per gallon. If the water's cloudy, use more bleach. If the water is clear and you just aren't sure of its purity, use less bleach. But that's your last resort. And there's also, you can use chlorine dioxide tablets. I don't have any here to demonstrate, but they come in little brown jars. And they work too, but you might want to filter that water through even a Brita filter that's mainly a carbon filter, just to clean up the taste a little bit. Iodine water isn't tasty.